Payton. Hoddle, nice chest trap there, but that might be a little ambitious. Except that he was giving it back again. Now Jones hit first time, a yard wide. Again, very nearly making something out of nothing. It was Evanson who gave that one away, and Hoddle took full advantage. A nice ball played through there for Chris Jones. Bit of a push there on John Duncan. Oh, and Chris Jones somehow from 7 yards out put it high over the crossbar. An unbelievable miss, that one. It looked to be a push on John Duncan, but the ball eventually coming through to Chris Jones. And it looked a formality putting it wide of Payton. Well, he did that all right, but he also put it over the crossbar. Evanson couldn't quite get it and certainly couldn't confuse him into an error, but it might yet come for Fulham. And in the end, Spurs scramble it away with Osgood. And now a chance for a Tottenham break. Taylor. Story going back with him. Lovely. Oh, and a beautiful header there by Duncan. A real masterpiece of a move that by Tottenham after it looked as though they were in danger at the other end. And Taylor did everything right, because he hit that ball at exactly the right height, into the space in front of the front runners. Duncan was there with his head, but he hit it straight at Jerry Payton. A beautiful move. Holmes. Duncan. Pratt. Really getting hard in on that situation. Playing it now for John Duncan again. What a lovely idea, but also a good quick spot by Jerry Payton in that Fulham goal. Pratt playing that ball wide of the defence. Oh. Now, no goal. Thought for a moment that Tom Bune was going to turn around and point to the centre, but there was an infringement clearly on the goalkeeper. Going back to that ball of John Pratt's, though, played nicely for Duncan, but the keeper was quick to spot it. And then after that, we had that slight shenanigans, but obviously there was an infringement there by Duncan on Payton, and although Duncan put the ball into the net, no goal. Maybank getting the better of Holmes, played there for Mitchell. Oh, a linesman was flagging on the far side. There was an infringement there, and the goal will not count. Well, maybe it was Maybank offside. The infringement was over there, and even though Mitchell put the ball in the net, it doesn't count. Naylor. Taylor. That's a good cross. Duncan's on the far side with the header for Chris Jones. And at last they've broken that Fulham deadlock. And Peter Taylor sitting down by the corner flag. Well, there's the man who made it, Peter Taylor, bursting on the scene again. He got that over by the byline. A lovely long cross. John Duncan up well, unselfish as ever, down for Chris Jones, and hooked it in from close range to Jones. Spurs 1, Fulham 0. Naylor. And Hoddle. And McNabb. Long shot, tipped over. McNabb taking a surprise long shot there. And well timed that tip over by Jerry Payton. Whistles going around the ground now, but not from Mr. Bune. And Fulham look again as Evanson crosses that ball in there. Lacey had gone up there, and McNabb with a chance of making a quick break. Naylor playing it forward again, but Taylor halted in his stride by the final whistle. One goal and a victory for Spurs, but little else. Chris Jones, who got the vital goal 15 minutes or so from the end. Peter Taylor with that beautiful cross of his was the man who made it. Helped in between times by a very unselfish head down by John Duncan. Not a lot to talk about in this game, to be honest, except that the final scoreline at White Hart Lane is Spurs 1, Fulham 0.
Now McNabb. Goalkeeper may have been unsighted at first. 18-year-old Glyn Jones there in goal for Rovers. But in the end, he got down and turned it away with one hand. The shot coming in from Neil McNabb. Quickly taken for Naylor. Oh, the flick on by Hoddle, and it nearly went in. Glenn Hoddle creeping in there at the near post. Was on by Lee for Hoddle. Here's Taylor. Well held by the goalkeeper. First burst we've seen from Peter Taylor. Again, good approach play by Tottenham. Here's Hoddle. Moore's got up there. Lee got it! And the new boy makes his mark. He gets a goal on his debut. The ball played by Hoddle into the box. Ian Moore's got it very well on the far post to head down. And Lee just beat defender Day there. The ball skidding low into the corner. And Spurs are in front. Hoddle. Neil McNabb. McNabb really got hold of that. Beautiful shot with his left foot. And young Glyn Jones reacting extremely well to turn that over. Lee climbing again. Well, this is becoming a fairy tale. No wonder he looks so pleased. 2 goals in the space of 5 minutes for the young man playing his first match at this level. The corner swung across, and Colin Lee climbing beautifully, heading it in perfectly. As it turned out, it wouldn't have counted because he was pulled up for handball. Now Staniforth. Turned across for Gould. That was the first clear-cut chance Rovers have had. Taylor shaking off Gould. 4 Tottenham players ahead of him. 5 now that Hoddle's made a run down the right. This was how the second goal came, really. Taylor! Peter Taylor makes it 3 and scores with his head for the second week running. And there'll be some amusement in the Tottenham camp about that, because before the match, Peter Taylor was joking about his heading ability. Scored one at Charlton last week, and there he was again. Glenn Hoddle made the extra man on the right, chipped the ball in near post, and Peter Taylor glanced it home. Oh, and here's Lee. Moores! And this Rovers defence is there for the taking, it seems. Tottenham finding so much space. And in again by Hoddle, then by Peter Taylor. There's Lee again. It's Taylor! And is it going to go? It was hooked out from on the line. And Peter Taylor can't believe it. Good save by the goalkeeper, though. Give him credit for that. It really was. Holmes. Oh, look at this. Hoddle again. And Spurs, as befits a side 3 goals up, are absolutely full of themselves. That last attack, Rovers surviving by the skin of their teeth and by a very good reaction save from the young goalkeeper. Here's McAllister. Oh, a lovely dummy by Peter Taylor. He's got 4 in the middle as well. Oh, they all missed it, and Moores put it in. Number 4 for Tottenham. And that was a brilliant goal in its way, because Peter Taylor on the right wing worked the dummy and got ahead of his man, and when he pulled the ball back, the sort of cross defenders hate, it was low. Lee missed it, Pratt missed it, but Moores didn't miss it. There's Pratt getting in, Lee is there again! He's done it! It's a hat-trick! Three goals on his first appearance. White Hart Lane acknowledges a new name. The corner swung in by Taylor. Pratt was in there at the near post. It spun off to the far post. And Colin Lee with the dropping header. Spurs have scored 5 goals, and the match of the day record, by the way, is 7. Taylor! Good stop! That could so easily have been number 6. And the record then would have been Insight. But Insight was where Glyn Jones kept that drive from Peter Taylor, and he turned it out superbly. McNabb. Hoddle. Taylor leaving it. Moores is through. Now. An avalanche of goals. That one again was well worked. The Rovers' defence caught square. Pratt and Taylor involved in the move. Moores was put clean through. And his finishing clinical and decisive. It's all away from Tottenham that Bristol Rovers looked a very poor side, especially in defence. And there's Moores on again here for the hat-trick. He's done it! He's got his 3rd as well. And it was laid on by Lee. And Spurs have scored 7. Again, the partnership of Lee and Moores. Lee broke on the left, crossed a fast ball to say the least, and Moores got it on the volley, putting it away so well again. Oh, and John Pratt's away. Lee is in the middle. Taylor trying to get there. It's going to come to Taylor now. It's come to Lee. 8. Four for Lee and 8 for Tottenham. Moores. Hoddle! He looked offside, perhaps, but the referee's given the goal. Number 9. Again from a corner. Ian Moores retrieving at the far side, knocked it back across the goal. Hoddle was all by himself. Bristol appealed for offside, the flag stayed down. And Spurs chasing double figures in the last minute, and the referee has blown. And the crowd rise to Tottenham. And to Colin Lee with 4 goals, and Ian Moores with 3. Amazing things happen in football. You lose your 2 main strikers, throw in a new partnership, as Tottenham did here, and look what happens. They got 7 of the goals between them. Peter Taylor got 1. Glenn Hoddle got in at the end of the act. And as the crowd celebrates...
That he's old enough.
This Palace side disrupted by a midweek injury to Vince Hilaire and the continued absence of defender Ian Evans, of course, who had a setback since breaking his leg. It's now in plaster again for another month. Phil Holder playing against his old club, Tottenham. As for Spurs themselves, they of course have Peter Taylor playing against his old Crystal Palace teammates. But today Tottenham without defender Jim Holmes, he's injured, and Don McAllister takes his place at number 3. The referee today is Malcolm Sinclair. He comes from Guildford, and now the crowd are hoping for some early Christmas cheer. So Palace kick off. They've got the red and blue stripes and white shorts. Tottenham in white. Tony Burns getting an early touch there for Crystal Palace. Palace, who came here in 1972, the last time they played in the league. Then the Spurs won 2-1. In fact, that day in 1972, only 3 players from the 22 on the field that day survived the game. All Tottenham players, Pratt, Naylor and Perriman. It's quite a comeback day for the Crystal Palace manager, Terry Venables. There he is, a Tottenham player of some distinction, of course, for a number of years. Hurst right in there. And Perriman again, tidying up well. But Palace getting a ball back once more until Terry Naylor once again got in there for Tottenham Hotspur, but it's a throw for Palace. Sanson with it. Paul Hinshelwood's come up well into that Tottenham penalty area. Good long throw by the youngster. Hinshelwood was looking at temple, but it was always going to be Barry Danger's ball. Shoving it back to Colindi by Jim Cannon. A free kick to Tottenham. So Perriman with the kick for Tottenham. High towards Colin Lee, won it well in the air. Oh, 3 minutes gone. A great breakthrough for Tottenham. Well, Colin Lee, who began his career at Tottenham scoring 4 goals in one game, has now become a maker of goals. He did it last week and he's done it again now. Tremendous lead by him. And there was Hobble catching it beautifully on the volley. Spurs 1, Crystal Palace 0 with 3 minutes gone. Glenn Hoddle the scorer. Duncan. Nab. And what a noise there is here now. Pratt, in fact, Malcolm Sinclair having a quick word there with Neil McNabb for a foul on a Crystal Palace player. Palace with the free kick. Now it's Arcouk. Sanson. Arcouk. Spurs, who won the game a month ago at Selhurst Park. 2-1. Oh, and a great goal there! Now, and it made it 1-1. David Swindlehurst, the man, but a linesman is flagging on the far side. That will not count. Well, David Swindlehurst thought that he got Palace on level terms there. He's not scored since September, but he met that ball beautifully, but the linesman was unhappy with it. It must have been offside, and the goal does not count. Duncan just glancing it on, Nicholas. Hinshelwood. Well, that was Lee's determination that forced that error out of Paul Hinshelwood, and here's McAllister. A little touch this time for John Pratt. That should be Tony Burns' ball. And now it's with Barry Silver. Good run by Chatterton from that throw, and he's put it right in. And a great save. And a goal! And this Swindlehurst, not an easy ball for him to control, but he put it in the back of the net there. And that brings it to 1-1. So there's David Swindlehurst, his first goal since September, and the second time he's had the ball in the net here at Tottenham this afternoon. The first one ruled out. Barry Danes knocked out of him a little bit, I think. Inchwood. Half hoops right in there. They're making some good runs from deep at the moment, Palace. It was, of course, Chatterton's run from deep for that throw that led to the goal. Inchwood made one there. There's a foul by Swindlehurst on McNabb. A free kick to Tottenham. Good play by Tottenham here. Hoddle crosses a lovely ball in there. Duncan was right in there. Pratt is right in there. Taylor there. Oh, just blocked. Beautiful move there. Palace always stretched from the moment Glenn Hoddle got that crossing. Duncan was right in there, and the ball eventually came out to Peter Taylor. Caught it on the volley, difficult angle, and it goes for a corner. Which Taylor himself will take. McAllister's made a run, and a late one, and Burns never for a moment took his eye off the ball. That's a good throw too. Cook being pursued by John Pratt. Look at Chatterton's run again from deep, and Naylor getting back very quickly. I must say Chatterton has looked very impressive indeed. That's 2 or 3 tremendous runs from deep that he's made, and of course it was his run from the throw that led to the goal. Osgood planting it forward. Duncan right up there, getting very little change in the air from a fellow Scot, Jim Cannon, at the moment. But here's Peter Taylor from Tottenham again. This time the cross coming in. This time Duncan did get his head to it, but didn't quite get the angle he wanted. Claws all around the ground for that move. For Taylor's good cross, Duncan getting in there. I don't think he'll be entirely happy with that header though. Topsy-turvy game so far for the managers to suffer. Terry Venables there. Perryman for Tottenham. Hoddle allowing it to go through now for Osgood. Inside the box. The referee said there was no foul. Hoddle again, chipping it through once more. Cannon again, whacking it away to the safety of touch. Lee. Mitchell dealing roughly with him. This was gone twice or 3 times, in fact, but it's a free kick to Tottenham. Peter Taylor already across to take it. Colin Lee going to where he might be able to use his head to good effect. Duncan making a run towards the near post. They're all in there! And pointing to the bench, I've done it with my head and it doesn't happen often. But what a beautiful header that was as Duncan took 1 or 2 players with him towards the near post, and Hoddle was steaming in behind him with a glorious header. Spurs 2, Crystal Palace 1. Well, Ron Greenwood's talking about some youngsters in the pipeline who in 2 or 3 years' time are going to take their place where it matters for England, and I think a lot of people would agree that Glenn Hoddle must have been one of those youngsters he's got in mind. Boy from Harlow. To Crystal Palace. Hinchelwood. Pratt jumping well. Here's Lee. Hinchelwood in again quickly. Well, free kick to Tottenham. Used to be a forward, Paul Hinchelwood, but he's in fact turned into a good and aggressive defender. McAllister with the kick. High towards John Duncan. Terry Fenwick getting that one away. Hoddle. Naylor. John Pratt doing a dummy. Phil Holder not buying it. Taylor. Hoddle. Delicate touch on there. Naylor, what a good cross. What a good move. Ending with Duncan putting it over the bar, but a lovely build-up by Tottenham. Real one-touch and ambitious stuff of that. Lovely little threesome down in the corner there that led to that cross. Cook. Sansom. Here's Perryman again. Peter Taylor. Red crossed his man there quite easily. Harcourt. Now McAllister. Here's McNabb. Spurs plunging men forward again. Taylor on this side. A little chip there. McNabb knew that was coming. Precious little room. Very nearly got it through, and he has in fact got it through. And now McAllister. Oh, that's the post. You can read his thoughts there. He suddenly saw that opening for him. He took careful aim. I thought for a moment it was going to go in off the post. But for Don McAllister, disappointment. It came back out again. Perryman. Taylor. Well, easy always to see afterwards. Advantage might have been played there, but Taylor certainly taking advantage of this, and called for a very good save. He just wide. Well, it very nearly came off for Tottenham. After all, Taylor going through there, really letting fly with that left foot. In fact, Tony Burns did well to be big enough to stop it. The ball bouncing out to Colin Lee and just wide. About 2.5 minutes to go to half-time now. Barry Daines with the kick. Duncan. Hoddle again. John Pratt moving it in for Don McAllister. That's a good cross. Duncan was there with the header a fraction too high for him. Lee was just behind. Oh. And Peter Taylor's overhead, cannoning off a Palace defender. Good cross by McAllister though. Just too high for Duncan. So John Pratt with the corner for Tottenham. They're all steaming in there again. Lee among them. Here's Osgood. Now a chance maybe to cross that again. That's a dangerous looking cross once more. McAllister in there. Kicked off the line. Well, it was Paul Hinchelwood who rescued Crystal Palace there. McAllister in that crowded area, but Spurs are threatening again. In that crowded area. Offside against Rashid Harcourt. Now let's have a look at that one again. In that crowded area, it was Don McAllister who looked as though he was on the way to scoring goal number 3 until Paul Hinchelwood was right on the line to hack it away. Jim Cannon. Chatterton. Perryman. Oh, what a beautiful covering job again by Steve Perryman. Play on, said the referee, and he's absolutely right. Well, Harcourt now, but there's a bit of nonsense over there, a bit of giving a free kick to Crystal Palace. A foul by Steve Perryman. A trip on Peter Taylor, but it looked like one of those clashes where it was totally accidental. And it's a free kick which either Barry Silkman or Phil Holder will take for Crystal Palace. Right, the last seconds of the first half. In fact, referee Malcolm Sinclair just looked at his watch. Swindlehurst, and a goal! Well, he's got his second one as well. And Palace, who've been under the whip for so long, as Spurs have turned on the style, have now come whipping back with that header by Dave Swindlehurst. In she goes, wide of Barry Danes. There are boos for the referee, Malcolm Sinclair, for not stopping the game when Peter Taylor was brought down. And everything now has swung back to give Crystal Palace a chance. So, right on half-time, a controversial equaliser. And Osgood, as the whistle goes. Glenn Hoddle, absolutely brilliant for Tottenham, scoring both their goals. One in the 3rd minute and one in the 21st. Dave Swindlehurst, in fact, scoring 2 for Crystal Palace in the 11th minute and right on half-time. Fancy we're going to have a tremendous second half in the second division game here at White Hart Lane. With a half-time score then, Spurs 2, Crystal Palace 2. We'll be right back with that second half. First half shared at 2-2, and now Spurs attacking the goal to our right. Osgood finding it there towards John Pratt. Ian Evans on the right there is the man really they're missing badly in this Palace defence since that injury. Jerry Murphy, the substitute in the centre with Terry Venables, the manager. And a free kick now to Tottenham, the foul by Cannon on Lee. And Terry Naylor with the free kick. Duncan's again waiting in the middle. It's Peter Taylor, in fact, who floats it in there towards Duncan, and Nicholas got nicely behind that one for Palace. McNabb. Perryman. Chipped in again. Look at Hoddle leading the charge there. Duncan right in there too. And Hoddle, what a lovely little chip. They're all getting up for that one. And in the end, it's Cannon and Hinchelwood who got it away. Again, beautiful example of Hoddle's thinking. Beautifully played little chip in there. And it just wouldn't go for Tottenham. Ken Sansom. Swindlehurst. Silkman. Yes, he was having a little... Well, I'm astonished at that. I would have thought, if anything, that had to be the other way. That looked to me as though Silkman was having a little go at Terry Naylor. Malcolm Sinclair said no. And it's Palace who get the free kick. So, the man in black is not the most popular man at White Hart Lane at the moment. Sheridan, Swindlehurst, crossed in again and a go by, and Harcourt was right in there. As that ball came in, certainly Harcourt flung himself at it. Physiotherapist Charlie Simpson coming on as well to see what the problem is here with Peter Nicholas, who in fact broke his leg about 2 months ago, and in fact has only had it out of plaster about a month, and I think it looks as though the stretcher is going to come on for poor young Peter Nicholas. That'll be a terrible blow for the youngster, and Jerry Murphy is coming on. Silkman, Murphy. Oh, well stopped by Peter Taylor. Colony right up. Duncan on the far side, but Taylor's run off a little bit of a blind alley there. Now, can he cut back? There's the simple ball to Hoddle. McNabb. And cut out by Swindlehurst. Fairman's little touch to Osgood. Lee back for Pratt. Sanson away. Hoddle. Was a tremendous shot. Thought for a moment it was going over, but it went whistling past Tony Burns against that crossbar. Hinchelwood. One throw by Hoddle. Duncan trying in vain to get the next ball into a two to beat Hinchelwood. He couldn't do it. It's a corner for Tottenham. With about 20 minutes to go now. Well, that time McAllister had made his run, but the ball didn't come anywhere near him. Here's Osgood instead, though. Crossing that back in well. Lee was up there. Sanson getting it away. Naylor carefully and skillfully nodding it wide there for John Pratt. Cross coming in once more. And Silkman, the only Palace man up, except that Harcourt is right up there with him now. Murphy's getting up too. That's the one played by Silkman for Harcourt. And it's... Oh, for a moment it was the goal that Crystal Palace were looking for. Silkman did well to break out there and found Harcourt well. Thought it was a goal there, but it went just wide. Taylor. Good crossing again. Hoddle was leading them all again, and I think they've got a corner. Yes, Spurs have a corner. one in against his old teammates there. I think it was Hoddle at the near post who glided that header on. Taylor with a good chance, putting it over the top. Cannon. Tony Burns, because Taylor hit that well, and I think Tony Burns, well, I thought he'd mussed it up for a moment, but he just got enough on it to take it wide of the post. And Duncan over with the header, and Palace can breathe again. Swindlehurst, Chatterton, and the final whistle goes. It's a 2-2 draw, and certainly Terry Venables will be delighted, I would have thought, and certainly very satisfied with the point that Crystal Palace have got here, having come to visit his old club. 2 goals by Glenn Hoddle and 2 by David Swindlehurst, all of them in the first half. Bring us a final score then at White Hart Lane that reads Spurs 2, Crystal Palace 2. The Fulham team unchanged. It's the one that drew a fortnight ago with Bristol Rovers. They've not played since. Scare this week. 4 of their players went down with colds. Terry Naylor, Neil McNabb, John Duncan and Peter Taylor. But they've all recovered, and they've lost only 1 of their last 15 league games. So there we go then. Spurs attacking the goal to our left in the all-yellow strip. Fulham best identified, if you're watching in black and white, with the black shorts. Spurs having beaten Fulham 1-0 when the teams met earlier this season at White Hart Lane. From McAllister in very quickly again there for Tottenham. It's a good ball here for John Pratt. From Glenn Hoddle, beautifully played. Pratt playing it in again, but John Lacey there for Fulham. Naylor sweeping that cross in again there. Good jump though by Lacey. Pratt getting the loose one. Now will he fire one in there? Duncan, and offside. Linesman had his flag up straight away. Now very, very much involved. And there's a ball for Duncan. Evans is the Fulham man, and Duncan's gone past him. Now has he got people up in support? Taylor's right in there, and Taylor! Beautifully taken, and it was always on for Tottenham. But unquestionably it was John Duncan who scored so many for Tottenham, who made this one for them at Fulham today. Gale. Margerison swept for Lestrong. Well, Barry Daines was down, and he had to grab that fairly closely to him because Evanson was coming in quickly. Naylor to Hoddle. Pratt to Hoddle. Holmes in a lot of space on this side. Picked out well by Hoddle. Deep cross again. Margerison making a bit of a mess of it. Hoddle finding Peter Taylor now. Glenn Hoddle. Now can Duncan get on to their end of that chip? Oh my word, that could so easily have been Terry Bullivan pulling through his own goal. More anxiety coming their way as Pratt takes his corner. Backward header over the top. Margerison for Fulham. Strong. Mitchell, always capable of goals, and finding a good pass there for Evanson. A long cross now towards Greenaway. Right back this time for Mitchell. Well, he hit that one. But he went straight at McAllister. Now can Greenaway turn it back again? Straight at Holmes this time. Can Tony Gale turn it back again? Mitchell again right in there. And play on, saved the referee. And McNabb is only too happy to do that with a long, long pass to get Peter Taylor on his way. Duncan's up in support, so too is Colin Lee. But he really didn't need any support as he whipped in that cross just past the post and into the side netting. Now Brian Greenaway. Evanson and Mitchell are up there. And Naylor deciding to dummy that one away from Mitchell and allow it to go, but Mitchell in possession now for Fulham. Margerison with so little space there, and Hoddle right with him, and he's got a corner. Making a run towards the near post, in fact, number 5, there he is, the big man. Well, Gale almost got his head to that. And in the end, it was Jimmy Holmes who forced Fulham away. Money. It's gone off Pratt. Danes came running for that one, and Spurs might be in a bit of trouble here. Margerison! Oh, great save though by Barry Danes. Well, it's still not away yet. It'll come back in a moment to Perryman. And he got it away. Well, a lovely piece of play on the turn by Margerison as that ball came into him, and a great save by Barry Danes. Now it's with Mitchell. And somehow they got that one away as well. Chipped in again and just over the top that time from Margerison. Greenaway's header, but straight for Perryman, and Perryman made hard work of that as well. And the back pass from Holmes, and he's put Mitchell in, and it was oh so close. It's his new role there now since the transfer of Keith Osgood to Coventry, and now away goes Peter Taylor, 1 against 1 as he faces the keeper. Fulham in pursuit, he's gone past them, oh, and he's slipped. Oh my word, what a tragedy for Peter Taylor. Greenaway with it. Danes under a lot of pressure. Well, how on earth did they not get that in? Well, John Mitchell cannot believe that he didn't put that one in. And John Evanson was there as well. Well, a lot of scurrying in that Tottenham 6-yard area. Strong. Mitchell. He couldn't change direction quickly enough for Bullivant. And now Lee trying to get Taylor through. There's going to be a collision there, and it's Jerry Payton, and chance now for Duncan. And Payton dribbled it back into the box to pick it up. And now a chance. Shoved off the ball. Surely that looked a penalty to me. Well, that looked a clear-cut penalty to me. Score at rainy Craven Cottage then. Fulham 0, Spurs 1, and we'll be right. Just about all the players, in fact, at least have changed their shirts during the half-time interval to clean themselves up a little bit. Fulham there with Mitchell getting the header. Evanson hoping to head it back again. Oh, and a nice acrobatic overhead kick by Steve Perryman, getting the danger away for Tottenham. Hoddle. Calmly playing this ball now for Taylor. McNabb forcing it forward now for Lee, and he must have been just inside that Fulham half. Naylor. And now McAllister telling Lee to run on, and then playing it short and square here for Naylor. Hoddle. A little chip through there for Duncan. Will it go over Payton's head? Oh. What of an hour, the second half gone. Spurs still leading 1-0. Duncan now on the ball for Tottenham. Lee. Oh, and he very nearly played that for McNabb. Instead it comes to Naylor. All the time in the world to get a good cross in. and Lee was right in there again. Here's his Hoddle, a curler, just so close. Gale played on for Evanson. Greenaway, Mitchell and Margerison. Evanson shot and it called and it got a very good save indeed from Barry Dane. Nab, Hoddle, Duncan. Oh, Hoddle linked up nicely again with this attack. Little touch through there for Taylor. On for Hoddle again. Oh, delightful. But also disallowed. Money with it. Now strong, and Spurs have pulled everybody back. So it'll be quite a task for Fulham to find some way past it all. Evanson knocking it in, and they've done it! Greenaway! Well, that's a shaker for Tottenham. It really seemed that they had got this sewn up, and they pulled everybody back from that free kick. And it was crossed in there by Evanson, allowed to go a long, long way. There was Brian Greenaway on the far side, and past Barry Danes it went for Fulham 1, Spurs 1. Scorer, well, that was John Evanson who made it. The scorer was Brian Greenaway. And it goes back to Jerry Payton. Well, Bobby Campbell can afford to be a little bit relieved. That looks as though they might have saved a point. Greenaway once more. Stopped, but at the expense of a throw. The rain sweeping down again. A game with seconds to go, and standing all square at 1-1. It might come for Mitchell again. It might come for Evanson again. It might come for Lacey. And that caught Perryman, and that might have gone anywhere. Strong now. What a finish we've got. And they've got a corner for them. And with an eye what's going on at the other end as that corner comes in again for Fulham. And still Spurs haven't got it away. But that's the final whistle. And it finishes 1 each. There's a real breeziness about Tottenham when Dane's got the ball there, and I did see once or twice already in this game. Quickly released it, got the game going again, got men moving forward again. Mark Lawrenson to Gary Williams, and here's Towner. Tremendous run by Towner. Now can he shrug off Perryman as well? Now can he get it over? Well, that was the only thing that was missing. Was the good cross at the end of a tremendous run there by Tony Towner. Hoddle trying to get in behind them. Peter O'Sullivan there doing a good gritty job at the back for Brighton. He might be in a bit of trouble yet, and I think he wanted Steele to come towards him, and Steele wasn't going to leave his line, and in the end the little Brighton number 11 had to whack it behind for the corner. Beautiful skill. Oh, a lovely touch by Peter Ward, and now Towner can take it up again. Here's Clark spinning it wide here for Horton, and Catlin joining in. A lovely move by Brighton there, and so it's a throw. Actually, it was that lovely piece of skill there by Peter Ward that really opened up the way for so many things. O'Sullivan. Horton. Chipped forward to Miller. Osgood slipped there for a moment. Here's Peter Ward. Nice little ball. Played very intelligently there for Towner. Played back this time for O'Sullivan. Towner again. They want that cross in though. They'll try and take Naylor. Played short in fact to O'Sullivan. But charged out by Perryman, and now here's Peter Taylor. Lawrenson's ball into the crowd. Nab. Hoddle. Duncan. Hoddle going through. Moores. And Duncan with the shot. Oh, he hit the post. Hoddle. McNabb. Brighton pull the lot back. Naylor playing it through there. Taylor! Oh, my word, that was so close. Well, applause all around the ground for that. In fact, here's Ward. A touch on for Clark. Miller wide outside him. Catlin coming up in support. Now, let it go. That wasn't far off. And that's the nearest Brighton have been. And it was 19-year-old Paul Clark who got in the shot. Holmes, cut out again though by Lawrenson. Miller, carefully picking his way through there and finding Peter O'Sullivan. Here's Tony Towner. Lawrenson again. Republic of Ireland international, Mark Lawrenson. Oh, this is the first time he's come forward like that. Miller's right in there trying to get the 1-2 going with him, and now Perryman, no, he hasn't saved the corner. That's a corner for Brighton in the last seconds of the first half. Graham Winstanley, the big number 5's coming up. Lawrenson's already up there because it was he who did so much to force that corner. So there's Winstanley, 5. Lawrenson, 6 you saw there. Miller, 9. All 6-footers. And here's the corner coming in, and a good safe catch by Barry Davies. That's half-time as well. Welcome back to White Hart Lane, just as Brighton and Hove Albion now kick off. They, remember, are attacking the goal to our left in the dark shirts. Goalless first half, and a disappointing one. Moores. Oh, Taylor. Is this the moment? Oh, what a lovely curler! A Peter Taylor special, that, because he thought about it and felt the only way round that crowded area was with a curler which looked as though it was going to go just sneaking in by that far post as Eric Steele went diving across the goal, but it went just wide again. There's Catlin's cross and Naylor's header away to Peter Taylor. Good challenge though by Williams. And good work by Hoddle. In fact, it was beautiful work by Hoddle. A lovely pass there for Peter Taylor. But charged down by Winstanley. McNabb couldn't gather up the crumb that was falling his way. Jimmy Holmes can. Here's Neil McNabb. Spurs now pushed a lot of men forward. Curled in there. Horton behind for the Tottenham corner. But what is worth looking again, of course, is that superb ball and control by Glenn Hoddle. Inch perfect that pass for Peter Taylor. Osgood on the line. Oh, a mistake there. Oh, deflected wide of the goal. Well, it was Duncan's shot. And that looked as though it was goal bound. It deflected presumably off a Brighton defender, with Steele diving wildly one side, the ball just clearing the other post. Pratt versus Horton, and Pratt wins that one. Taylor, now will he get it onto the left foot? What a lovely chip as Moores comes in, and brilliant play by Winstanley. Now, in it comes again, Duncan's header, brilliant save by Eric Steele. Brighton's defence, absolutely brilliant there. In the first place, they were saved by some lovely acrobatics from Graham Winstanley, the big number 5. And then when Peter Taylor crossed it in again, it looked a formality for John Duncan. A really superb save by Eric Steele. Neil McNabb for Tottenham. Taylor. Oh, that's a beautiful dummy by Taylor. And a lovely little cross going in. And Lawrenson got his head to it and knocked it away for Brighton. Tony Towner. Little chip towards the near post. Miller trying to guide it back again. Oh, Clark hit it well. Great save by Barry Davies. Well, Paul Clark thought that his first appearance for Brighton was going to be marked with a goal there. He caught that beautifully. Danes was flinging himself across the goal as Clark hit it though, and turned it around for the corner. John Pratt.
Allowed to go a long way through, Peter Taylor! Oh, superb piece of goalkeeping again by Steele. That looked a dead cert for the first Tottenham goal. He got it onto his favourite foot, let fly, and Steele made his second brilliant save of the game. McNabb. Still McNabb. Lee with a header. A useful header. Oh, and my word, Taylor should have scored. As Horton takes this free kick, Winstanley's right in there. Goal kick. Little floated free kick there from Brian Horton, and Graham Winstanley, big, strong defender up there. O'Sullivan. Peter Ward. Perryman's there with him. It's a Brighton throw. In the last minute of the game. Well, what's happening there? A bit of taunting maybe from the Brighton player, and a bit of retaliation from Steve Perryman. Clive Thomas on the scene. And Brighton with a throw with Peter O'Sullivan. It looks as though... was that a corner? Yes, a corner for Brighton. Looks as though Tottenham's brilliant goal-scoring record is ground to a halt on this occasion, at any rate. Brighton, who've defended gallantly, are just a matter of a few seconds away from a very good point indeed. Another throw to Brighton. Well, he's told Steve Perryman to get the ball. That's the sort of discipline that Clive Thomas believes in. And Steve knew he had to do it. It's all over. It's a point for Brighton, who defended well, particularly in that second half.
Martin. Hodgson taking over again. Bird making a break on the right. That's a good dummy and a cross. Well knocked away by Perryman, but the pressure still on as Foster goes driving down the right side. Plays it off Lee. It's just a throw-in. Mansfield beginning to exert some pressure on this Tottenham defence. They've had goals scored against them, Tottenham, in all the last 13 matches. Looks useful, Martin, and there is Surrett. They've Surrett, 1-9. 28 minutes in. Well, that was a beautiful little goal. Side. Spurs defence static. Knocked back. Crossed the goal by Martin. And though Dane's got a hand to it, Surrett beat him. Toddle now. It's a good-looking cross. Arnold Kane lost it. And Pratt couldn't get there. Arnold still for it. And Pratt again. And Arnold's still there. And Jones has scored. Unbelievable. What an incredible goal. Well, that was the most fantastic goal I have ever seen scored in my life, particularly the way Rod Arnold was bouncing around like a jack-in-the-box in the middle of his goals. So many Tottenham players having a whack at the ball. He must have made at least 3 saves. 1 at least from Jones, 2 from Pratt. Flying around all over the place. I must admit I thought the referee at one point was going to give him the benefit of the doubt with the way he was flying about, the ball was flying about. But finally he had no chance when Chris Jones latched onto his second attempt at goal and slotted in the equaliser. For Lee. Taylor. Hoddle loses to Hodgson. Foster, Colin Foster. Third for Miller. Through ball for Martin. Round to Hodgson. Penalty. Gotta be. Against Steve Perryman. Referee David Richardson will have no arguments for the Tottenham players. Hodgson, who sold Steve Perryman a half dummy then, went on to go to the line to cross the ball into the box, and Steve Perryman is adjudged to have brought Hodgson down. Chance for Dennis Martin to score his first goal for Mansfield since coming here from Newcastle. And he didn't get it. Baines makes the save. And Tottenham gather round their goalkeeper, saying, well done. And that makes Steve Perryman feel a lot better. Martin, a measured run, struck the ball firmly to the left of Barry Daines, and he makes a comfortable save. Miller. That looked very much like handball, no, and it was chest. It was chest, all right. Now Hoddle. Dodgy thing to do in that circumstance, though, because one fractional mistake, and it could have been hands instead of chest against Glenn Hoddle. Hodgson with the corner. Foster and Sirik off the line. Was it in? The goal is given by the linesman quite clearly. And Sirik has scored his second goal. 42 minutes and it's 2-1. So the corner swinging in from Hodgson. Foster, the man who got up above everybody and had a good whack at it with his head. And Sirik, who finished it all off. So the corner. Holmes with it. It's a good one too. That was handball on the blind side. It was handball on the line. Wood, surely. Gotta be. Gotta be. But the first handball has not been seen. Has he pointed for the penalty? Yes, he has. The penalty is given. So that corner comes swinging over from Jimmy Holmes. I must admit, I thought I saw a Tottenham player handle the ball. The shot is on target. Wood certainly handled on the line, and he knew it. He had to do it. So the penalty. And this the very spot, this the very goal in which Dennis Martin missed his penalty shot for Mansfield in the first half. It's Hoddle against Arnold for 2-2. And that's the score. Glenn Hoddle ties it up at 2-2. 36 minutes into the second half. Glenn Hoddle's 11th goal of the season. And Tottenham back in the game at 2-2. No way Arnold could save that one. It was a well-struck shot. It's Taylor. Stead. Holmes. It's Perryman. Oh, bad ball. Straight to Hodgson. Early on for Sirik. Chance here. Daines has come a long way. And he's missed-kicked, and it's a hat-trick for Sirik. Yes, sir. And Mansfield back in front at 3-2. And Sirik, Dave Sirik, has picked himself up in the match ball today with a hat-trick. And the Mansfield fans are up and dancing all around the ground. What an incredible day for Dave Sirik. All starting then with that bad pass from Perryman. Hodgson knocked it through. Daines comes screaming off his line. Missed it. And Sirik an empty net to slot his third goal of the game into. Sirik is on the near post. As Hodgson tries to plant that one right in there. And Sirik is there. And Foster was so close. But what about that for a perfectly taken corner? Hodgson gliding it in, Sirik near post, the header, fractionally away from Foster as he lunged in. On my watch, 1 minute to go. Spurs 3-2 down here at Mansfield. this could possibly be their last shot at goal. Hoddle and Taylor sorting the situation out. What will they have? The sun out now for the first time this afternoon. Taylor and Hoddle trying to chip it straight in, and he did! It's 3-3! Hoddle has scored his second goal of the game, and this incredible match has yet another spark point. With my watch, there was 30 seconds left when Glenn Hoddle strode up, measured it out, and planted that ball firmly into the top left-hand corner.
Great fight back by Tottenham, and another controversial penalty, again worth another look. Was it handball by Peter Taylor as Jimmy Holmes whacks in this corner? Hugh Johns said that it was, and the pictures prove him right. A handball there, so Spurs might have been just that little bit lucky. Well, they were lucky to get away with that. And as the ball comes in, it hits a Mansfield defender, Woods, on the arm, and Spurs get a penalty. Still, that's the way it goes, and that Tottenham point leaves the top of the second division now looking like this. Spurs 2 points ahead, but Bolton going well again have that game.
So away we go, Sunderland in blue shirts and white shorts. Spurs in white shirts attacking the goal to our right at the start of a really critical week for Tottenham. 3 games left. Today's at home in midweek against Hull and away to Southampton next Saturday. And really at this precise moment, disregarding results in other games, Spurs want 4 points for promotion. And they could well do with 2 of them today, and Peter Taylor going in! And a goal! In 28 seconds, Spurs go into the lead. So it's Henderson. Kerr. Rostron. Merriman there with him. Doherty turning it in to Gregoire. And Rao. And Rao! 1-1. Jones playing it back again for Hoddle. Will he let one go this time? No, it was Rao who got in the way. And Rostron who can bring it out. Gregoire and Lee are up for him. And coming up fast here is Mick Doherty. What a good break by him. As a cross towards Bobley on the far side. The header there. And it's into the net by Lee, and Spurs are behind. Elliott away to Lee. Well, if Spurs don't watch it, they could be caught out again. They've got a lot of men forward, and they've got to bring them back. And there's Kerr onside. Linesman kept his flag down, played it again, and another goal by Lee. 3-1. Hoddle. Played for McNabb. Taylor. Hoddle again. Now Naylor. It comes again. Jones with a header, and Duncan got the touch.